Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am so glad that you could come out and join us for Burning Bowl 2012. You are so very beautiful. Thank you so very much for coming. I am heir to a legacy of fighters, change agents, plain old sick and tired of the status quo folks who made a difference from all over the world. And it is in that spirit that Affinity was founded, has been supported, nurtured, and come to be what it is today. Everyone must leave something behind when he dies. My grandfather said, a child, or a book, or a painting, or a house, or a wall built, or a pair of shoes made, or a garden planted. Something your hand touched, somewhere your soul has somewhere to go when you die. And when people look at that tree or that flower you planted, you're there, and you are remembered. It doesn't matter what you do, he said, so long as you change something from the way it was before you touched it into something that, like you, after you take your hands away, it is changed. The difference between the man who just cuts lawn and a real gardener is in the touching. The touching. The lawn cutter might just as well not have been there at all. The gardener will be there for a lifetime. There are certain things that are fundamental to human fulfillment. The essence of these needs is captured in the phrase, to live, to love, to learn, to leave a legacy. The need to live is our physical need for such things as food, clothing, shelter, economical well-being, health. The need to love is our social need to relate to other people, to belong, to love, and to be loved. The need to learn is our mental need to develop and grow. And the need to leave a legacy is our spiritual need to have a sense of meaning, purpose, personal congruence, and a contribution. A legacy is something handed down by an ancestor or by a predecessor from one's past. A legacy isn't just an inanimate object. It can be a talent or a love from something. I love Affinity Community Services, and I am so honored, so very honored, that Affinity becomes part of my legacy, and that there were those who had the understanding and the knowledge before me about what could be, and allowed me to play an insignificant role in what Affinity has become. I am honored and humbled. I was invited back after being a co-founder of Affinity Community Services by Galen in 2005. And I don't think people understand the significance of being invited back once you've helped start something. It was an honor, it was a gift, it was an opportunity to give again and hopefully make a difference. I came back because I felt I still had something to give. I felt I had a role in sustaining Affinity Community Services. And it is so very important for us to take up the challenge of sustaining our institutions and our organizations and our communities and our families. My commitment has been twofold in demonstrating that commitment to sustainability. One of the ways that I've done that is in my planned giving. Affinity has now been designated as a recipient as part of my life insurance policy, because I believe in Affinity Community Services, and I believe that it must have life beyond me. Its role and significance exists beyond me. What legacy are you going to leave? I want us all to reflect on that. We all have a responsibility to leave a legacy. Leave someone behind, leave something behind, make a difference. The other way that I want to demonstrate my commitment to sustainability is in our efforts around succession planning at Affinity Community Services. And I want to share a story with you about succession planning and when it began for me. In 2005, Renee Ogletree took ill again. And we were all called into service. And my role that particular time was to try and organize people to care for one of our elders in her home, take her to doctor's appointments. And so I reached out to people. And one of the people that I reached out to was Kelly Suzanne Saulsberry. And I have to tell you, I was completely affected that this young person was willing to give of their time and energy to care for an elder in our community. And over time, we became fast friends. I began to talk to her about Affinity Community Services. She joined the board. And my plan began to hatch. I felt that Kelly had the natural skills and gifts and talents to be involved in the leadership at Affinity Community Services. But your plans are your plans, and you must allow people to develop as they will develop, right? You support their development. But let me assure you, as time went on, Kelly became more and more involved at Affinity. And finally, in 2009, at a pre-Jazz in July event at her home, she came to me and said, very quietly, I think that I'm interested in taking on more of a leadership role at Affinity. And I must tell you, the tears welled up in my eyes because this was what was meant to be. And I went to Kim and I said, Kim, we must begin our work. And so we began the work of preparing Kelly to take leadership at Affinity Community Services. There were workshops, there were trainings, there were meetings over the course of this period of time, from 2009 to this very day. And I have to say to you, it is an honor for me to see Kelly as part of my legacy. She is a far better leader at such an early age than I ever was. She is far better prepared. She's been through the trials and tribulations. She has a commitment to community. She has a gentle way. Me, not so gentle. While I am not leaving the board, I'm certainly shifting into a different role. And I will begin to work on the archives of Affinity because, again, it's about sustainability. It's about our institutions and telling our story and preserving our history so that we can continue to tell those stories and learn and grow and develop. Legacy is so very important. And again, I am honored to have been asked to come back to Affinity. I'm honored to have received the torch from Chris Smith. All right. And I'm honored to pass the torch to Kelly Suzanne Saulsberry.
I am really speechless, and I'm very touched by your words, your confidence in me, and all that you've done and given to me. I am a better leader because of you, so thank you. Good afternoon, good people. Good afternoon. You can do better than that. Good afternoon, good people. Ah, that's better. Happy Burning Bowl and happy 2012. What a beautiful sunny day it is today. I'm grateful to be alive for yet another day and greatly appreciate this beautiful sunshine. It is a real treat to be in this space and share the beginning of a new year with you. If I had to choose the word that best described my life last year, it would be transition. My dear dad made his transition on Wednesday, February 9th of last year. Words will never be adequate enough to describe how much I miss him and how I would do anything to have one more moment with him. But his spirit is with me every day. Thanks to so many of you for the love, hugs, and words of comfort you gave me during my worst time of grieving. Starting graduate school this fall marked another significant transition for me. Getting acclimated to being back in school again and dealing with the demands of challenging coursework in economics and statistics have not been easy. I shed many tears last quarter as I stared blankly at problem sets, having absolutely no clue how to solve them. However, this program is exactly what I want and where I need to be. I am fortunate to have this opportunity and look forward to bringing the tools and skills I've learned to my communities. Just as importantly, I make sure to bring the experience and knowledge from our communities to the classroom. The biggest and most exciting transition this year, however, was being voted board president-elect by my fellow board members. I first came to Affinity in 2003 as a young woman in my early 20s, looking for my rainbow tribe and sapphic sisters, and seeking a safe and affirming space where I could be accepted as a Black, lesbian, queer woman and card-carrying feminist, and be civically and politically engaged. Well, I found what I was looking for. I never would have thought, however, that I would eventually become a board member, let alone board president-elect. Next spring, I will step into the role of president, following our beloved and esteemed co-founder and current president, Lisa Marie Pickens. I am humbled by this privilege, legacy, and incredible responsibility. Lisa, it is an honor to take the helm behind you and be mentored by you. I thank you and Chris Smith for being good stewards as presidents of the organization, and thank Affinity from the bottom of my heart for being fertile ground for me as a constituent and developing leader. I am also grateful to the board and staff for believing in me and entrusting me with this opportunity and responsibility. It dawned on me the other day that I will be the first board president of Affinity that is not a co-founder. I don't take this lightly, as it is significant for Affinity. Many organizations suffer from founder syndrome and individuals more interested in pimping the organization for their careers and personal legacy, rather than creating a shared and sustained legacy for the organization's community members. I firmly believe that one of the reasons Affinity is still here 16 years after its founding is because it understands the importance of evolving, remaining relevant to the community, understanding and embracing change, developing leaders from the community, and succession planning. The biggest reason Affinity is still here, though, is because of you. There would be no Affinity without you. Right. Many of you have been here from the very beginning as founding board members, committee members, faithful volunteers, donors, allies, and friends. We appreciate all that you have done and continue to do with and for us. I look forward to agitating, advocating, and acting for social and political change with you in my new role next year. I'm a bit anxious about assuming the role of president, but I know that I don't stand alone. I am part of the larger team and community, which include the world's best board of directors. I have the distinct honor of introducing them now. First, I would like to mention that Danny White, board member and former Affinity scholar, cannot be here today because she left for Morocco on Thursday evening and will be studying there for the next few months. Yeah. We are extremely proud of Danny and look forward to receiving news about her adventures. Ebony Davis, a new board member who joined us in May 2011, brings a wealth of experience in family and community development and social service, board experience, and has been an asset in our fundraising efforts. Ebony, would you please stand? Is she here? Okay. Nicole Spencer, another new board member who joined us in May 2011, brings legal expertise and valuable experience in operations and system management and board experience. She has taken a lead role in updating and shoring up the board's bylaws, and partnership guidelines. Nicole, would you please stand? Yomika Alexander brings experience and knowledge in issues of public health and leads Affinity's Athletics Division. I'm sure you guys have been getting her amazing emails. She leads our health and fitness initiatives and has organized volleyball, softball, running, and basketball groups. Yomika, who goes by Alex, would you please understand? Michelle Miller, who had to leave a little early to go to work, is a fierce community activist and organizer who has been instrumental in bringing more cutting-edge and unconventional programming and events to the community, and raising awareness about the alarming rates of HIV and AIDS and other STIs among Black and LGBTQ populations. She is passionate about creating beloved and safe communities and is a creative and crafty marketer. Eric Murray brings several years of nonprofit board experience and a desire to create alliances and build bridges between LGBTQ and straight people, especially in Black communities. In addition, he brings a valuable perspective as the organization's first straight man on the board. Eric, would you please stand? And now, I would like to take the opportunity to honor a very special person who unfortunately is not here today, but she quietly stepped down from the board in 2011. She has been a longtime volunteer, LGBTQ activist, Chicago Gay Games organizer and volunteer, and board member extraordinaire, Linda Doss. We thank Linda for her dedication to Affinity and for always bringing us back home during our 1,000,001 tangents in our board meetings. Linda, we love and appreciate you, and this is actually her award, and we'll make sure we give it to her. I will now turn the mic over to Rosa Yadiro Ortiz, our sister from Amigas Latinas. Rosa.
Hello everybody, buenas tardes.
Buenas tardes.
Si hablamos español aquí también, ¿verdad? ¿Sí? ¿Sí? Ah, está muy bien. Buenas tardes, my name is Rosa Yadira Ortiz. I am transitioning, there's a lot of transitions this year, as board president of Amigas Latinas. And I think this is a good time for some storytelling, I think. I came to Amigas Latinas 10 years ago, I think. I feel like my time before I came out as queer is such a blurry time. It's like I knew there was something happening, I just never figured it out until I came to Amigas Latinas. And I really came out as a queer woman. I didn't know that one could be queer and Latina and immigrant and speak Spanish and have a single mother who didn't understand what was happening. And so she went to her priest and said, I don't know what's wrong with my child. But she did say this. And as you know, who has watched Pariah? Yeah? Recommend it, Google it if you haven't heard about it. Yesterday, I was watching the movie, and the one thing that stuck to my head is that you have to love your children. Have to love your family. Have to love your friends, even when you want to shake them, and God knows sometimes I want to shake my friends. But my mom always said, even when she went to her priest, I love my daughter. That's all she knew. That's all she needed to know. She didn't understand it. This didn't happen to her in Mexico, which, you know, we all know it did. But my mom has been part of it, and she actually has come out as an ally through Amigas Latinas. If you don't know, Amigas Latinas has a Entre Familia group, which is in hiatus right now, who has worked to really support parents who are Spanish-speaking, family members who are Spanish-speaking, to better understand what it's like to be queer, bisexual, lesbian, transgender, questioning, and figure out what that means with your Latina identity, whatever variant of Latina identity that might mean for you. I've had my grandparents, mis abuelitos, my aunts and uncles come, my cousins come, and you know, I think it's such a beautiful place to be able to embody all your multiple identities. I think, you know, when I first came to the organization, I didn't know you can have so many beautiful people, multiple communities in one space. Oftentimes, one of the beautiful things that I've loved about our partnership with Affinity Community Services a partnership that has been going strong since I joined the board in 2005, 2007. Again, the years blur. Has been the coming together. Oftentimes we think that, within the Latina community, you stay over here and we'll stay in Pilsen and we'll stay in Little Village. And then the Black community will stay on the south side and on the west side. And they just have to be like this. And they can't come together. And it's so beautiful today to come into the space and see our communities coming together. Because the reality is that we can't do it alone. We cannot do it alone. We can't continue the work alone. We can't continue the fundraising alone. We can't continue the transition planning alone. And it is really amongst community that we do the best, fiercest work. We do a lot of challenging, a lot of growth, by force or by choice. But you do a lot of wonderful community. I came to Amigas as a young person, figuring out where my home was, where my familia, away from familia was, and I have found it. Ivette Cardona and Mora Noriega, founders of the organization, asked me to join the board. They're also in sunny Mexico with Alma Izquierdo. We won't be bitter about that. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I can get some sun.
And so they asked me to join the board, and I didn't know. I had left to San Francisco to pursue my graduate degree, and I was the first scholarship recipient who was pursuing a graduate degree. And I didn't know I could be a board member. Nobody talked about being a board member. I've been with the board now for 4.5 years. I became a board treasurer. In 2009, I was asked to take on the board presidency. I was the first board president who wasn't a founder, one of the first ones who wasn't part of the initial growth of the organization. And it's been a journey that I've loved, a journey that it's been a good time. And I will tell you this, that I'm not a person who shares, because you have to be tough and you got to get the work done, and it's about the work. But this year has been a trying time for us at Amigas Latinas, as has Kelly. And Emilia Chico, who's one of our new board members, sat with me outside today, and I say thank you for that. And I cried. And grieving is a process, you have to let it out. And I did not bring waterproof mascara today. Nor eyeliner, and so we have troubles with that, but thankfully I have my lip gloss. And there's been a lot of tears this year for Amigas Latinas, a lot of growth and a lot of transition. But one thing that keeps with us is that Cristina Santiago's looking up for us, keeps us pushing us, keeps on challenging us. And we really look to her as now as a spirit